before I start out this video, I would just like to address the common misconception that people have about travel vloggers and influencers on the internet. So there's a common misconception that all of us have a lot of money, whether it be from our job, from the internet, or it be from our family inheritance. This is what allows us to travel a lot. But a matter of fact, most of us actually don't have a lot of money. It is just the lifestyle that we choose to adapt to be able to afford time and money towards travel. So no, I don't have a lot of money. This is why I'm going to be describing to you 8 of the things that I do and the 8 of the things that I did to change my lifestyle to be able to afford the time and the money to travel. Starting with tip number 1, and I know this sounds so basic, like everybody knows this, but tip number 1 is to save. And yes, that sounds very self-explanatory, but a lot of people actually don't have 2 separate accounts in their bank. So the easiest thing to do is set up a savings account that is separate from your everyday checkings account. What I do and what I find easiest is the day you get paid is the day you send the money. So I send myself the same amount every single week into my savings account, and from there I don't touch it. I just sit back, watch it grow, and once it's at the amount that I can use to travel is when I go. It's the easiest and fastest way, and the littlest bit goes a long way. You don't need to put something crazy like 400 in the account every week. You could put something easy like 20, and then as time goes on you can build it up and put more money into that account. Tip number 2. Tip number 2 is more specific towards people who work in hospitality because of tips. So what I do is I save all of the money that I make from my tips and I put it in a jar. This jar has gotten pretty heavy over the time that I've had it. I got it in Christmas and I've actually already used it once. So I went to the Whitsundays in February. I didn't even use the whole box. I just took, I think, $200 out of it. But this is my travel fund. As you can see, it is full of money, and this is strictly just money that I have gotten from tips. And another thing that I do put in here is all of my coins. So another thing you can do if you're not a waitress is make a rule of not spending any change. So I actually do both of these rules, which is why there is so much change in this box. But basically what I do is I make a note to not spend any coins that I ever have in my wallet. I will never give exact change because I keep the change and I put it in that box. Another thing that I've heard of people doing is never spending a $5 note. There was actually a guy that I met throughout the whole year of 2017, did not spend one $5 note, and he saved $4 grand by the end of the year. So it's just little things like that that go a long way. Alright, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty and we're going to talk about the things that we don't want to save our money on. And that is number 3, eating out. Eating out really is like the worst thing you could spend your money on, especially when you can go to the grocery store and make a meal for probably $3 rather than going out and spending $20. So this is something that's really simple to cut back on, but at the same time really sucks because you know you want to go out to eat and your friends always want to go out to eat. So I would just kind of restrict that back to like birthdays and specific parties that are events. Don't make it a routine to go out to eat dinner once a week. That is just a waste of money, and when you do start cutting back on that, you will start seeing the savings. Number 4 is to stop spending money on leisurely things. So when I say that, I'm talking about going to the movies, getting your hair cut, getting your nails done, such things like that that you can easily do on your own. Going to the movies has actually recently kind of gotten more expensive. I know here in Australia there are some places that charge $20 to see one movie when you have Netflix and Hulu and popcorn at the tip of your fingers on the internet. Don't spend your money going to see a movie when you can watch it at home. Same with cutting your hair. This is something that's more popular for girls, I would say, because a girl's haircut is at least like 50 or 60 bucks, and that's kind of a lot. Just tie your hair in a ponytail like I did and snip it. It is not the straightest haircut, but it'll do. The same goes with doing your nails. Getting your nails done can cost like $30, and then depending on if you're getting fake or shellac, it can cost like $50. So this is something that I would just take the time to do on your own, and that saves you like $30 like every week or fortnight. So that really does seem to add up. If you stop spending your money on those things, you will start to see your bank account rise. Number 5 kind of is a little bit targeted to the ladies out there, and that is to stop buying clothes. And yes, this is something that was very hard for me to do because I do love my clothes, but as I've started to travel, I could only bring a certain amount of clothes to Australia, and I've realized that the 2/3 of the clothes I left back at home, I don't even realize I don't have anymore. So this just goes to show how much clothes really don't matter and how much you really don't need all of those clothes. So you do really just have to find that willpower and not go out to buy clothes. It's different if it's something that you need, like hiking boots or new socks or underwear. Like, this is something that's different, but don't go out every single fortnight to buy the new trendy item. You'll be fine with what you're wearing. Don't stress about it, but this is something that actually I've noticed a lot of savings for, and I've saved a lot of money not buying clothes for months on end. So this is something that really goes a long way, especially when buying clothes is such a waste of money anyways. So just take it in your hands and try not to buy so many clothes. All right, number 6, this is something that really just depends on where you live in your location, but for me, I've found it is doable, and that is to stop driving your car as frequently. So this has to go with things like to work. If you live in a walking or biking distance to work, take it into your hands to do that. Me personally, I'm a little bit too far to walk, but I did buy a bike, and I've been biking to work for like the past couple months, and we've only had to fill up our car like once a month with gas rather than once a week. So that goes from spending $40 to $50 a week to $40 to $50 a month. So that has saved me like $150 a month just on riding my bike to work. And that has to go with things like going to cafes. Don't go out of your way to go to that cafe that's 20-minute drive. Go to the one that's close to your house. Same with like restaurants. Try and go locally. Or even if you can't ride your bike or walk, you can take the public transport, because you may be thinking, oh, it's so close, like it's probably not that expensive in gas anyways, but realistically it does add up. And when you start to drive places, no matter the distance, you have to fill up your car every week. Whereas why would you do that when you can just do it once a month? So that is something that might be a little bit hard depending on where you live, but it is something that you can do by starting to walk places, take the public transport if that is an easy option depending on where you live, and riding your bike. This has been something that's really helped me. I've spent so much less money on my car, and not only that, but I'm more active. So that's a plus. Alright, so this is number 7, and this is something that is a little bit altered depending on where you live, and because I'm currently in Australia, it has been very doable for me, but I know obviously I've lived in Canada before and this isn't really as possible, but that is to not use your drying machine and not use your dishwasher. So as I've mentioned in other videos before, not many people in Queensland use these things because the weather is so amazing you don't have to, and this saves so much money on bills. I am telling you, the dryer just sucks up your electricity and will skyrocket your electricity bill when I just hang them out outside. And another thing is the dishwasher. I'm not too sure how much this costs because I've never paid for electricity with a dishwasher. I've always done my own dishes, but this is something that you can be saving money on when it comes to bills if you are somebody that pays bills. So this is something to really look into if you are paying your own bills, because I know we've been saving so much money on electricity not using the dryer, and doing your dishes really doesn't take that long when you wash them yourselves anyways. So this is just something to think about if it is doable for you. And number 8 is also something that may not be doable for everybody, because I know some people live at home with their parents still, but if you are someone that doesn't, I would highly recommend getting a roommate. Now, this is so good for saving money to travel, because I know some people when they travel, they travel for a long period of time, then they live with their parents to save money, which is amazing. But if you don't have that option, such as me who lives across the world where I can't live with my parents, living with a roommate cuts down the cost so well. So where I'm living right now, the rent is about $500 a week, but because I have roommates, I actually only pay $155. So this is like crazy. $155 a week would be impossible to do if you lived on your own, because that is just crazy. Nothing retails for that price. So living with a roommate is a really good thing to save money, and it is amazing because you can spend more money on the things you want to do, such as traveling, the reason for this video. But living with a roommate is amazing because you save so much money on rent, which means you have so much more money to do the things you want, such as travel. So I really, really, really recommend living with somebody. It is not that big of a deal. You live with a friend and you save, for me, for instance, I'm saving $100 or $200 a week just by living with somebody else. So having a roommate is a very good and easy and fast way to save money. So hopefully these tips help you guys save some money, but just keep into perspective that these are things that you have to change about your lifestyle to be able to afford to travel so much. So no, you don't have to be rich to travel. They're just things that you have to change about your lifestyle and things that you have to be willing to give up to be able to travel. So I've given up going shopping as much. I've given up going out as much with friends to save money. It's just depending on what you want to do and what your priorities are. So hopefully these tips have helped you guys, and I hope they do help you guys. If you enjoyed my video, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below any tips that you guys have to save some money, because I would love to know. I would want to save more money to travel. And if there's anything else you guys want to know, don't be afraid to comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!